Welcome, curious minds, to the deep dive. It's funny, our brains are these incredible things, right? So powerful, so brilliant, but honestly, they're surprisingly easy to trick.
Oh, absolutely. We see it all the time with these seemingly simple puzzles that almost everyone just gets wrong.
Exactly, and that's what we're diving into today. Why? Why do we keep falling into these cognitive traps? What's going on there?
It's a really fascinating question, isn't it? And we're going to explore it using some great material from Alex Bellos, specifically excerpts from his book, Think Twice, Solve the Simple Puzzles Almost Everyone Gets Wrong.
Alex Bellos, he's fantastic. A journalist, broadcaster, puzzle guru, background in maths and philosophy too. Writes that great puzzle column for The Guardian.
Yeah, he has this really unique way of looking at how we think. So our mission today really is to unpack the psychology behind these counterintuitive puzzles.
And figure out the cognitive biases they expose. Maybe learn how to think a bit more clearly along the way.
That's the plan. And what's great about Bellows is he sort of wants you to get them wrong. He finds that aha moment, you finally see it. That's where the real joy in learning happens.
I love that. Okay, so let's jump in. The first big theme seems to be this clash between our gut feeling, our intuition, and cold, hard logic. Even when the answers are simple, why does intuition lead us astray so often here?
Well, that's exactly what Bellows digs into. He picked puzzles that are short, easy to grasp, usually have a clear yes-no answer,
Well,
but they almost always trip people up on the first try. And it's not about being smart or not smart. It's about, like, the speed of our thinking. Our brains take these mental shortcuts.
the system one thinking Daniel Kahneman talks about. Quick, automatic.
Exactly. It works fine most of the time, but sometimes you really need that slower, more deliberate system too. And these puzzles catch system one out.
Makes sense. Okay, let's try one. Bellows calls it wandering eyes. Here's the setup. Jack is looking at Anne. Anne is looking at George. Now, Jack is married. George is not. The question is a married person looking at an unmarried person? Yes, no, or cannot be determined. Go on, have a think.
So what did you come up with? If you're like most people, it probably cannot be determined.
Mm-hmm.
Bellows ran this in his Guardian column. 200,000 people responded,
Wow.
and 72% chose cannot be determined. It's the classic error.
I can totally see why. My brain went straight there. Because we don't know about Anne. Right.
That's the trap, the unknown quantity Anne's marital status.
Right.
Our brain sees that ambiguity and just takes the easy way out, avoids the hard work.
Okay, so break it down. What's the actual logic?
If you pause, think twice,
Mm-hmm.
the answer has to be yes. Think about Anne. Either she's married or she's not, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Anne is married, then Anne, married, is looking at George,
Ooh.
unmarried. So yes.
Okay.
And if Anne is unmarried, then Jack, married, is looking at Anne, unmarried. So yes again.
Ugh. It doesn't matter what Anne's status is. Either way, the answer is yes. That's clever.
It is, isn't it? And Bellows makes this neat connection to a math problem about irrational numbers raised to irrational powers, showing how sometimes the status of an intermediate step, like Anne's status, just doesn't affect the final provable outcome.
So what does this puzzle really teach us about ourselves?
It shows how easily we get nudged, you could say, by just the suggestion of missing information. Even when logic can give us a definite answer, we default to avoiding mental effort.
That tendency pops up everywhere, doesn't it? Like in this next one, confounding cash. Okay. A woman steals 100 pounds from a shop's till. Then she comes back and buys 70 pounds worth of goods using that stolen money and gets 30 pounds change. How much did the shop actually lose?
Yeah, this one gets people really tied up in knots. Lots of adding, subtracting, overthinking it.
So what's the simple truth?
The shop lost 100 pounds. That's it.
Just the amount stolen initially.
Exactly. Bellows suggests thinking of it as two separate events. One person steals 100 pounds, that's a 100-pound loss. Separately, another person comes in, buys 70 pounds of goods with a 100-pound note, gets 30 pounds change. That second part, that's just a normal sale. No loss there.
Right. The purchase itself didn't cost the shop anything extra beyond the initial theft. It's just circulation of the stolen money. We overcomplicate it.
Precisely. We look for hidden complexity that isn't there. Sometimes, though, the simplest things are tricky, like basic arithmetic done quickly. Bellows has one called silly sum. Ready?
Go for it.
Start with 1,000. Add 40. Add another 1,000. Add 30. Add another 1,000. Add 20. Add another 1,000. Now add 10. What's the total? Quick.
Okay. 1,000, 10, 40, 20, 40, 20, 70, 30, 70, 30, 90, 40, 90, 40, 100. Wait, no, that's slowing down quickly. 5,000. That feels right.
And that's what most people get. 5,000. It's the common error.
What's the trap?
When you do it fast in your head, it's really easy to sort of muddle the hundreds and thousands columns, especially with those small additions like 40, 30, 20, 10.
So if you actually write it down or go step by step carefully?
You got it right when you slow down.
Mm-hmm.
1,000 plus 40 equals 1040. Plus 1,000 is 2040. Plus 30 is 2070. Plus 1,000 is 3070. Plus 20 is 3090. Plus 1,000 is 4090. Plus 10 is 4100.
Phew. Okay. Definitely needed to slow down there. So these first two examples, they really show our brain taking the path of least resistance, don't they?
They really do. It underlines that reliance on quick, intuitive System 1 thinking.
Yeah.
It serves us well, most of the time, navigating daily life. But the trick is knowing when to hit the brakes.
When to pause, engage that more effortful System 2.
Exactly. That pause, that's often where the clarity is hiding.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. What about how our eyes, our visual perception, and just our everyday assumptions about the physical world can mislead us? These sound fun.
They are. Take teapot trouble. Picture two teapots. One is short, but its spout starts quite high up the body. The other is tall, but its spout starts much lower down. Which one holds more tea when it's full?
Instinct says the taller one. More volume overall, surely.
That's the common intuition. But it's wrong. The shorter teapot, the one with the higher spout, actually holds more.
How does that work?
Well, think about it. The tea level can never go higher than the opening of the spout. Otherwise, it just overflows.
Right, of course. So the functional fill level is limited by the spout height, not the pot height.
Precisely. Now, Bellos adds a nuance.
Hmm.
If you block the spouts, then the taller one would hold more. Or you could design a pot with an internal chamber. But based on standard function, the spout's the limit.
So our assumption about volume based just on height gets tripped up by design. Okay, what's next?
How about the pint-sized problem? Think about a standard pint glass,
Hmm.
which is longer, its height, or the circumference of the rim at the top.
Oh, definitely the height. Pint glasses look tall and relatively narrow at the top.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But no, the circumference is actually much longer.
Really?
Yeah. For a classic British nonic pint glass, the circumference might be around 27 centimeters, while the height is only about 15 centimeters, almost double. Even tall, skinny lager glasses usually have a circumference longer than their height.
Wow, why do we get that so wrong?
We're used to seeing and measuring straight lines. When we look at the glass side on, we sort of mentally register the diameter, the straight line across the top. We forget that the circumference is pi times that diameter. Our spatial intuition for curves is just not great.
Definitely something to ponder over my next pint. Okay, how about the whole truth? Flat metal plate, circular hole in the middle. You heat the whole plate evenly. What happens to the hole? Does it get bigger, smaller, or stay the same?
The intuitive trap here is thinking the metal expands inwards into the space, making the hole smaller. Lots of people think that.
Yeah, that feels right somehow. The metal's getting bigger, so it must fill the gap.
But the actual answer is the hole gets bigger.
Bigger? Why?
Because when metal heats, all its molecules move further apart, uniformly. Think of the plate like a grid, maybe 3 by 3, with the hole in the center square. When you heat it, all the squares expand equally, including the one that defines the hole. The hole expands just as if it were made of the same metal.
Ah, like photocopying something and enlarging it, the empty spaces get bigger too.
Exactly. Or like Bellos points out, running a tight jar lid under hot water. The metal lid expands, including the opening, making it easier to twist off. Same principle.
Fascinating. These physical ones really challenge our mental models. And it seems geography does too. Our mental maps are often distorted.
Hugely distorted, often because we're used to flat maps of around Earth, or we let climate influence our sense of location. Quick one. Which U.S. state has the most easterly point?
Gotta be Maine, right? Way out there on the East Coast.
Seems logical, but nope. It's Alaska.
Alaska!
One of its islands, Semisopochnoi in the Aleutians, actually crosses the 180th meridian, so technically it's in the eastern hemisphere, making it the most easterly point of the U.S.
That's mind-bending. Okay, try this one. List these cities north to south. Algiers, Halifax in Canada, Kyiv, Paris, Tokyo.
Okay, Kyiv feels pretty north. Paris, maybe similar.
Yeah.
Halifax is Canada, so north. Algiers is Africa, south. Tokyo, maybe southish. My intuition is all over the place based on climate stereotypes.
It's tricky. The actual order, north to south, is Kyiv, most northern, then Paris, then Halifax, then Algiers, and finally Tokyo, most southern.
Wow. So Paris is further north than Halifax, and Tokyo is further south than Algiers.
Yep. Paris is surprisingly far north, about 49 degrees, maybe masked by the Gulf Stream's warmth. And Tokyo, around 36 degrees, is about the same latitude as Crete.
Our internal globes are definitely wonky. These geographical puzzles really show how flawed our intuition can be without checking the actual data.
Absolutely. And if our intuition struggles with space and physics, it seems to struggle even more with probability and statistics. This is where things get really wild, right?
Oh, this is prime territory for cognitive traps. Our brains are notoriously bad at intuitively grasping probability. Let's try sistery mystery. Imagine a country where there are slightly more girls than boys, say 51% girls, 49% boys. On average, who has more sisters, girls or boys?
My first thought is girls. If there are more girls overall, wouldn't any given girl be more likely to have a sister than a boy would?
That's the intuitive leap. But it's wrong. On average, they have exactly the same number of sisters.
How can that be?
Think about any specific family. Let's say a two-child family. The possibilities are boy, 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 girl, girl, boy, girl, girl. In the families with sisters, BG, GB, GG, a boy has one sister, BG or GB, and a girl have one sister, GG. Averaging across families, it works out the same. The overall population ratio doesn't change the probability within a family structure.
So my intuition mixed up population stats with individual family probabilities.
Okay, wow, that's subtle.
Very subtle. How about 4 kids? Family with 4 kids, 50-50 chance for boy or girl each time. Which outcome is more likely? Exactly 2 boys and 2 girls, or 3 of one sex and 1 of the other?
2 and 2 feels more likely. More balanced, more average. 3 and 1 feels like more of an outlier.
And again, intuition leads you astray. 3 of one and 1 of the other is actually more probable.
Seriously.
Yeah.
If you list all 16 possible combinations, BBB, BBBG, BBGB, etc., you find there are 6 ways to get 2 boys and 2 girls. But there are 8 ways to get 3 of one and 1 of the other. BBBG, BBGB, BBGB, DBB, and mirror image for girls. So 816, that's 50%, versus 616, 37.5%.
So randomness doesn't always look as random or evenly spread as we expect it to. It clumps.
Exactly. We expect perfect balance, but combinations favor the slightly less balanced outcomes in this case. Okay, spinner winner. Spinner A wins 50% of the time. Spinner B wins 25% of the time. Win gets you 1 million pounds. Better option, spin A once or spin B twice.
2 shots with B feels better than 1 shot with A, even if the odds per shot are lower. 2 chances are better than 1, right?
That's the common intuitive mistakes. Let's do the math. Spin A once, straightforward 50% chance.
Okay.
Spin B twice. You need to not lose both times. The chance of losing on B is 75% or 0.75. So the chance of losing twice is 0.75 times 0.725, which is 0.5625 or 56.25%.
Which means the chance of winning at least once is 100% minus 56.25%.
Which is 43.75%. So spinning A once at 50% is clearly better.
Right. Our intuition messes up compounding probabilities. Okay, I know this next one. Jolly good fellows, the birthday paradox. In a group of just 23 people, there's a better than 50% chance to share a birthday. Crazy. So, the puzzle question. How many people do you need in a group to be over 99.9% sure of a shared birthday? My gut wants a really big number, like hundreds.
Yeah, most people guess way too high. The answer is surprisingly small. Just 70 people.
Only 70 for 99.9% certainty. How?
It's about the number of possible pairs of people, which grows much faster than the number of people itself. You calculate the probability of no shared birthdays, and that probability drops incredibly quickly as the group size increases. It shows how bad we are at grasping exponential growth in combinations. Coincidences aren't just likely, Bellos says, they're pretty much guaranteed.
That really recalibrates your sense of coincidence. Okay, hospital head scratcher. Large hospital, 45 births a day. Small hospital, 15 births a day. Both average about 50% boys. Which hospital records more days where over 60% of babies born are boys?
Intuition might say they're about the same, or maybe the larger one because there are more births overall.
Yeah, something like that.
But the answer is the smaller hospital.
Why?
This is a classic demonstration of the law of large numbers. Smaller sample sizes, like the 15 births, are much more likely to have wild swings and deviate further from the average, 50%, than larger sample sizes, like 45 births. The large hospital's daily percentage will be more consistently close to 50%.
So small samples mean more variability. That makes sense. Wasn't this one from Kahneman and Tversky too?
Yes, exactly. It shows a fundamental statistical principle that our intuition often misses. We expect averages to hold true even for small groups.
Crucial point. Okay, brace yourself for tricky test, or LRGX. A nasty disease, LRGX, affects 1 in 10,000 people. There's a test. It's 100% accurate if you have the disease, no false negatives. But it has a 1% false positive rate for people who don't have it. You test positive. How likely are you to actually have LRGX?
Oh boy. Okay, the test is pretty accurate. 1% false positive doesn't sound too bad. My gut reaction, especially if I just tested positive, would be, oh no, I'm extremely likely to have it.
That's the panic reaction, and the intuitive error, the actual answer is it's extremely unlikely you have it. Maybe only about a 1% chance.
Yeah.
1%. How can that be when the test is so accurate?
This is the killer. Base rate neglect. We focus on the test result and forget how incredibly rare the disease is. Think about 10,000 people. Only one actually has LRGX. They test positive.
Right.
Now consider the other 9,998 people who don't have it. The test has a 1% false positive rate. So 1% of those 9,999 people, that's about 100 people, will also test positive, even though they're healthy.
Ah, so out of everyone who tests positive, there's maybe one true positive and the 100 false positives. Your chance of being the true positive is roughly 1 in 101.
Exactly. The tiny base rate of the disease gets swamped by the false positives, even with a seemingly low false positive rate. It's incredibly counterintuitive, but statistically sound.
That has huge implications for medical testing and interpreting results.
Okay, similar idea with just the job.
Yep. Another base rate neglect example. Meet Feng. He's British, socially awkward, likes classical music, does Sudoku daily, wears glasses. Is Feng more likely to be a supermarket worker or a school librarian?
The description screams librarian, doesn't it? Fits the stereotype perfectly.
It does. But the answer is, he's much more likely to be a supermarket worker.
Again, how?
Base rates. While the percentage of librarians matching that description might be higher than the percentage of supermarket workers, there are vastly, vastly more supermarket workers overall. In the UK, Bellos says maybe close to 1 million supermarket workers versus only about 10,000 librarians.
So even if only a tiny fraction of supermarket workers fit the description, the sheer number of them means the absolute number hitting the description is way higher than the number of librarians who fit it.
Precisely. The vivid, specific details make us ignore the underlying statistics. We build a story, a stereotype, and ignore the numbers. It's amazing how easily a plausible narrative overrides statistical reality. Now for some famous probability puzzles. Curious counters. 3 counters. One is black on both sides, BB. One is white on both sides, WW. One is black on one side and white on the other, BW. You pick one at random, don't look at it, just place it on the table. You see a black face showing upwards. What color is the face down side?
Okay, the counter can't be the WW one, so it must be either the BB counter or the BW counter. Seems like a 50-50 chance the other side is black or white.
That's the intuitive trap. The actual probability is that the other side is 23, likely to be black. 2/3. Why?
Think about the faces you could be seeing. There are 3 black faces in total you could have initially seen facing up. Black face 1 from the BB counter, black face 2 from the BB counter, and the single black face from the BW counter. All were equally likely to be the face you see.
Okay.
2 out of those 3 possible black faces belong to the BB counter. Only 1 belongs to the BW counter. So given you're seeing a black face, there's a 23 chance you pick the BB counter, meaning the other side is also black.
Ah, focusing on the equally likely faces rather than the counters. Clever. Isn't this related to Bertrand Buck's paradox?
Spot on. It's a classic from 1889, and it leads us nicely to the most infamous one, the Monty Hall problem.
Oh, Monty. Okay, 3 doors. Car behind one, goats behind the other 2. You pick door 1. Monty Hall, the host, knows where the car is. He opens, say, door 3, revealing a goat. He then asks, do you want to stick with your original choice, door 1, or switch to door 2?
The overwhelming intuition is that it doesn't matter now. There are 2 closed doors left. One has the car, one has a goat. It's 50-50. Switching makes no difference.
But the correct answer, famously, is that you should always switch. Switching doubles your chance of winning the car.
Right. It's incredibly counterintuitive. The explanation usually goes like this. When you first picked door 1, you had a 13 chance of being right. That means there was a 23 chance the car was behind door 2 or door 3.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now, Monty knows where the car is. By opening door 3, a door you didn't pick, and showing you a goat, he isn't changing the initial 13 probability of your door 1, but he is essentially concentrated that entire 23 probability, though spread across doors 2 and 3, onto the single remaining unopened door you didn't pick, door 2.
So switching gets you that 23 chance.
Exactly. His action of opening a goat door gives you crucial information that shifts the odds. It's all about conditional probability, how likelihoods change with new information. And our brains are just terrible at that intuitively.
It still feels wrong somehow, but the logic is sound. Okay, one more in this vein. Snow problem, an example of the conjunction fallacy. Which is more likely? A, the school is closed today, or B, the school is closed today because a snowstorm in the night left all roads perilous for pedestrians.
Option B sounds much more plausible, right? It gives a reason, paints a picture, makes a good story.
And that's the intuitive error. Option A, the general statement has to be more likely.
Correct. Because the situation described in B, school closed due to snow,
Mm-hmm.
is just one specific subset of all possible reasons why the school might be closed. Option A. A subset cannot be statistically more probable than the larger set it belongs to.
It's like that Linda the bank teller problem, isn't it? We think bank teller and feminist is more likely than just bank teller because it fits a narrative.
Precisely. It's the conjunction fallacy. Our minds prioritize a coherent story, a plausible explanation, over the basic rules of probability. A very powerful bias.
Okay, let's move on. How about puzzles that challenge our understanding of physics, maths, or even just language itself?
These can be really surprising. Let's start with the slinky thinky. You hold the slinky vertically, dangling, maybe with a small weight at the bottom. You let go of the top. What does the weight at the bottom do instantly? Go up, stay still, or fall down?
It has to fall down immediately, right? Gravity pulls it.
Seems obvious, but no. The weight actually stays put for a moment. It's briefly suspended in midair.
What?
The information that the top has been released has to travel down the slinky as a wave, a release of tension. The top coils collapse first. Only when that compression wave reaches the bottom and the slinky is basically fully compressed does the bottom weight finally start to fall.
So there's a delay. That's wild. You can actually see this.
Oh yeah. Bellos recommends trying it or looking up slow-motion videos online. It's genuinely weird and wonderful. Physics isn't always instantaneous.
Another reminder that our intuitive grasp of the physical world can be off. Okay, how about money month, which makes you richer over 30 days? Option A, 10,000 pounds cash every single day. Or option B, start with 1p on day 1, then 2p on day 2, 4p on day 3, doubling the amount each day.
Option A sounds amazing. 10,000 pounds a day, that's 300,000 pounds in a month. Very tempting. Option B starts so small, pennies.
That's the intuitive error, isn't it? Underestimating exponential growth.
Massively. Option bowl blows option A out of the water. By day 30, the single payment for that day alone is over 5.4 million pounds. The total over the 30 days is more than 10.7 million.
10 million versus 300,000, it's not even close. Classic exponential power. Our brains just don't get it intuitively.
Not at all. We're wired for linear thinking. Okay, geometry time again. Ropey problem. You have a rope that's 101 meters long. It's tied between two posts exactly 100 meters apart. So there's 1 meter of slack. Now, you pull the exact midpoint of the rope straight up until the rope is taut in two straight lines. How high off the ground is that midpoint? High enough for a go-kart,
A car.
a bus, a double-decker bus.
Only 1 meter of slack over a 100-meter distance. That feels like it won't lift very high at all. Maybe a go-kart, definitely not a bus.
That's what intuition screams. That 1 meter seems tiny, but the answer, you could drive a double-decker bus with an SUV strapped to its roof underneath it.
You're kidding. How?
Pythagoras theorem. You have two right-angled triangles. The hypotenuse of each is half the rope length, 50.5 meters. The base of each is half the distance between the posts, 50 meters. So height squared plus 50 squared equals 50.5 squared. Work that out, and the height comes to about 7.1 meters.
7 meters from just 1 meter of slack. That's incredible.
It really is. Our intuition about geometry, especially with small differences over large scales, is just wildly inaccurate.
Mind blown again. Okay, double trouble. You cycle 10 miles at a speed of 10 miles per hour. How fast do you have to cycle back the same 10 miles to make your average speed for the entire 20-mile round trip equal to 20 miles per hour?
Okay, average of 10 miles per hour and something needs to be 20 miles per hour. Intuition might average the speeds. 10 plus 30 equals 40, divided by 2 is 20, so 30 miles per hour.
That's the tempting but wrong answer. Think about the time.
Ah, right. Average speed is total distance divided by total time. The total distance is 20 miles. To average 20 miles per hour, the total time allowed for the entire journey must be exactly 1 hour.
And how long did the first leg take?
Cycling 10 miles at 10 miles per hour, that took exactly 1 hour already.
So how much time is left for the return journey?
0 time. To achieve an average speed of 20 miles per hour for the whole trip, you would have had to complete the return 10 miles instantly. You'd need to cycle back at infinite speed.
It's impossible. A great little trap distinguishing averaging speeds from average speed over time.
Exactly. It's an algebraic impossibility, hidden in a simple-sounding question. Now for something really fundamental, pointed question. Consider a line segment that is 3 centimeters long and another line segment that is 6 centimeters long. Do they contain the same number of geometrical points, yes or no?
No, obviously not. The 6-centimeter line is twice as long. It must have twice as many points. That feels like basic logic.
Feels logical, but in the world of mathematics and infinity, the answer is yes. They contain exactly the same number of points.
Wait, what? How?
This delves into the concept of different sizes of infinity. Bellos explains it with a diagram. Imagine the two lines parallel, one above the other. Pick a point A somewhere off to the side. If you draw a straight line from A through any point on the 3 centimeter line, it will cross the 6 centimeter line at exactly one corresponding point, and vice versa.
So you can create a perfect one-to-one mapping between every point on the short line and every point on the long line.
Precisely. It shows they have the same cardinality, the same size of infinity. It's called the infinity of the continuum, sometimes denoted C, and it's actually a larger infinity than the infinity of whole numbers. Any line segment, no matter how short or long, contains this same uncountable infinity of points.
My brain officially hurts. Our finite intuition just completely breaks down with infinity.
It really does. And topology can be just as mind-bending. Think about Mobius strips. You take a paper strip, give it a half twist, tape the ends, one side, one edge. What happens if you cut it right down the middle along its length?
I think I know this one. You don't get two separate strips, do you?
You don't. You expect two. But you get one single longer strip now with two full twists in it. It's genuinely surprising and delightful, as Bellos says. It defies easy mental visualization.
Topology is weird. Okay, finally in this section, how about puzzles that hinge purely on language? Linguistic teasers.
These are fun because they rely on careful reading. First, silly sentence. Listen closely. This sentence is curious because it only contains 3 mistakes. How many mistakes are actually in that sentence?
Okay, let me count. Curious, that's 1 spelling mistake. Repetition, 2, contains spelling, 3. Mistakes spelling, 4. And the claim 3 mistakes is itself wrong because I found 4. Wait, so that makes 5 mistakes?
Exactly. 5 mistakes in total. 3 spelling errors, 1 repetition, and the false statement itself. People often just spot the spelling errors and stop counting. It hides different error types.
Very clever. How about aquarium tragedy? Fatima had 40 fish. All but 39 died. How many fish were left?
40 fish. All but 39 died. Sounds like only 1 survived.
That's the quick misreading answer. All but 39 died means all except 39 died, so.
39 fish survived. It's the wording. So simple but deceptive. It's good to read carefully.
Exactly. It shows how easily our brain can jump to conclusions based on phrasing. These puzzles aren't just fun tricks, though. Many directly expose these fundamental cognitive biases we've been touching on.
Absolutely. They're like little diagnostic tools for our thinking processes. A great example is Years and Years, which is a version of the famous cognitive reflection test. Here's the puzzle. Aaron and Betsy have a combined age of 50. Aaron is 40 years older than Betsy. How old is Betsy?
Okay, combined 50, Aaron 40 years older. My instant gut reaction is Betsy is 10, because 50 minus 40 is 10.
That's the super common intuitive error. If Betsy is 10, then Aaron, being 40 years older, would be 50. Their combined age would be 10 plus 50 equals 60. But the puzzle says their combined age is 50.
Ah, right. So let me think. Algebra, A plus B plus 40. A is B plus 40. Substitute. B plus 40 plus B equals 50. So 2B plus 40 or 50. 2B equals 10. B equals 5. Betsy is 5 years old.
Correct. And Aaron is 45. This puzzle, often framed as the bat and ball problem, the $10 total, bat is a dollar more than the ball, is a cornerstone of Kahneman's work on System 1 and System 2 thinking.
System 1 gives the quick wrong answer, 10 years old or 10 cents for the ball. System 2 does the work and gets the right answer, 5 years old or 5 cents.
Exactly. It's not about math ability. Most people can do the algebra if they stop. It's about the ability to stop and think, to override that first impulse. Interestingly, research shows people who fail these simple tests are more susceptible to things like fake news, suggesting it's linked to a kind of lazy thinking.
Wow. So just taking that extra second to reflect is crucial. Okay, how about K, Sarah? Pick a random word from an English book. Is it more likely that the word starts with the letter K or that K is the third letter in the word?
Words starting with K, kangaroo, kitchen? No. Words with K is the third letter. Ask, like make. It feels easier to think of words starting with K, so maybe starting with K is more likely.
That's the intuitive guess driven by the availability heuristic, another Kahneman and Tversky concept. But actually, K is much more likely to be the third letter.
Really? Why do we think the opposite? Because our minds find it easier to retrieve words based on their first letter. Think about dictionaries, filing systems. They're all alphabetical by the first letter. So words starting with K are more available in our memory, making us overestimate their frequency compared to words where K is buried inside, even though words like ask, like make, take, book are incredibly common.
So the ease of recall biases are judgment of probability.
Fascinating. And the last big bias example, the turnover task. or Woson selection task.
Ah, yes, the 4 cards. Let's say you see 4 cards on a table showing EK63. You know each card has a letter on one side and a number on the other. Which card or cards must you turn over to test the rule? If a card has a vowel on one side, then it has an odd number on the other side.
Okay, rule is a vowel implies odd. I definitely need to turn over the E, the vowel, to check if the other side is odd. That confirms the rule.
Good start.
Uh-huh.
What else?
Do I need to check the K? Consonant. No, the rule doesn't say anything about consonants. Do I need to check the 3, odd number? Maybe. To see if it has a vowel. No.
Right.
Wait. The rule is vowel odd. It doesn't say odd a vowel, so the 3 doesn't matter. What about the 6, even number?
Yes. You must turn over the 6. Why?
Because if the other side of the 6 is a vowel, like an A or an I, then that breaks the rule. It would be a vowel with an even number.
Exactly. So you need to turn over E to confirm and 6 to try and falsify. Most people incorrectly choose E and 3.
Why do they pick the 3?
That's confirmation bias in action, a term coined by Peter Wasson, who designed this task. We have a strong tendency to look for things that confirm our hypothesis. Vowel goes with odd, so check the odd number card, rather than trying to disprove it, checking the even number card to see if it hides a violating vowel.
We seek confirmation, not falsification. That's deep-seated bias. And isn't there a weird twist where people do better if the rule is about a social situation?
Yes. It's fascinating. If you phrase the same logical structure as a rule, like if someone is drinking beer, they must be over 18, and the cards show beer, Coke, 25 years old, 16 years old, most people correctly know they need to check the beer card and the 16 years old card.
So context makes a huge difference in our ability to apply logic. Wow.
It really does. These biases show how our thinking, while efficient, has these built-in tendencies that can lead us astray without careful reflection.
Okay, to wrap things up, let's touch on some really deep paradoxes that seem to defy common sense entirely, revealing weird complexities in systems.
These are proper mind benders. First, double bad, based on Pareto's paradox. Imagine 2 gambling games, A and B. Both are losing games on their own. Game A, you just lose £1 every time you play. Guaranteed loss.
Okay, terrible game.
Game B depends on your current money. If your capital is an even number, you win £3. If it's an odd number, you lose £5. This is also designed to be a losing game overall.
Right, sounds like another bad bet. So the puzzle is, can playing these 2 losing games in some alternating sequence actually make you win money?
Intuition screams, and no way. How can combining 2 guaranteed ways to lose possibly result in a win?
It feels fundamentally impossible.
But the answer is yes, you can win. If you alternate them correctly, say playing B, then A, then B, then A, you will steadily make money over time.
How on earth does that work?
It's complex, but essentially the outcome of game B depends on the state, your capital being odd or even. Playing game A reliably shifts that state by subtracting £1, potentially pushing you into the winning condition of game B more often than you'd hit it otherwise. The interaction between the games creates a winning dynamic. It shows that combining strategies can have totally non-linear, unexpected outcomes.
That's astonishing. Context and sequence change everything. Okay, next paradox. Chessmates, illustrating Simpson's paradox. Alyssa and Boyan are playing chess against a computer. On Saturday, Alyssa wins a higher percentage of her games than Boyan does. On Sunday, Alyssa also wins a higher percentage of her games than Boyan does. Question. Over the whole weekend combined, who won the greater percentage of their total games?
It has to be Alyssa, right? If she had a better win rate on Saturday, Indy a better win rate on Sunday, surely her overall win rate for the weekend must be better.
That's the incredibly strong intuition. But it can be false. It's possible for Boyan to have the better overall win rate for the weekend. How is that even possible?
It depends on the number of games played each day. Let's use Bellos' numbers. Saturday, Alyssa wins 2 out of 2, 100%. Boyan wins 7 out of 8, 87.5%. Alyssa is better. Sunday, Alyssa wins 7 out of 10, 70%. Boyan wins 1 out of 2, 50%. Alyssa's better again.
Okay, so Alyssa wins percentage-wise both days.
But T, look at the totals. Alyssa played 2 plus 10 equals 12 games, winning 2 plus 7 equals 9. Her overall win rate is 912 equals 75%. Boyan played 8 plus 2 equals 10 games, winning 7 plus 1 equals 8. His overall win rate is 810 equals 80%.
What? Boyan's overall rate is higher even though Alyssa's was higher each day?
Yes.
Simpson's paradox. It happens when you combine groups that have different sizes or underlying conditions. Here, Alyssa played most of her games on Sunday when her win rate was lower, 70%, while Boyan played most of his games on Saturday when his win rate was very high, 87.5%. The weighting of the games flips the overall result. It's a huge warning about averages or interpreting aggregated data without looking at the subgroups.
That is a critical lesson for interpreting statistics in real life, like medical studies or social data. Wow. Okay, one final brain melter. The ant on an elastic rope.
This one feels utterly impossible. An ant starts at one end of a very stricky elastic rope, which is 1 kilometer long. The ant walks towards the other end at a speed of 1 centimeter per second. But at the end of every second, the entire rope instantly stretches uniformly by another 1 kilometer in length. So after 1 second, it's 2 kilometers long. After 2 seconds, 3 kilometers long, and so on. Will the ant ever reach the other end?
No way! The rope is stretching a kilometer every second, and the ant is only moving a centimeter. The end of the rope is running away infinitely faster than the ant can crawl. It seems physically impossible for it to ever reach the end.
That's the overwhelming intuition. It seems like a cruel joke. But the mathematical answer is yes. The ant will eventually reach the other end.
You're kidding me.
The key is that the ant is always making progress relative to the rope. Each second, it covers a certain fraction of the rope's current length. Even though the rope stretches, the portion of rope behind the ant also stretches, effectively carrying the ant forward. The fraction of the total distance the ant covers keeps increasing. Mathematically, it relates to the harmonic series, 1 plus 12 plus 13 plus 14, which counterintuitively diverges. It adds up to infinity, albeit incredibly slowly.
So even though the rope stretches incredibly fast, the tiny fraction of progress the ant makes each second eventually adds up enough to cover the ever-increasing distance.
Exactly. It might take an astronomically long time, but mathematically it will get there. It's a triumph of persistent fractional progress over seemingly overwhelming expansion.
That's profoundly weird and kind of hopeful. What a journey through these puzzles.
It really has been. From simple logic traps to deep paradoxes, they all show how our brilliant brains have these systematic quirks and biases when faced with counterintuitive situations.
But as Alex Bellos points out, that giddy joy when you finally get the aha moment is fantastic. It's not just about being tricked, it's about the delight of discovery.
Absolutely. These puzzles are more than just fun diversions. They're brain-sharpening tools, as he puts it. They give us a safe space to be fooled, which helps us spot similar thinking errors in more important real-life situations.
Yeah, understanding why we made the mistake makes us less likely to repeat it. It genuinely helps us learn to, well, think more clearly.
It really does. It encourages that moment of pause, that reflection, which reminds me of a quote Bellos includes from René Descartes.
Oh, which one?
Doubt is the origin of wisdom.
That feels like the perfect takeaway. Keep questioning those first impressions. Always be willing to.
Think twice.